Welcome, everyone, to Star Wars Abridged. Now, we are going to be starting our journey into the High Republic series today. So, we are going to be kicking things off with Charles Soule's Light of the Jedi, which was the first book to release in the High Republic's Phase 1. So, we're going to jump into that today. And if you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, leave a like, comment any Star Wars book you might want to hear in an abridged version, and let's jump into Chapter 1 of Light of the Jedi. So, before we get into the actual chapter, Light of the Jedi has a sort of prologue that just kind of sets the stage for how things are in the galaxy at this point. And remember, this is set around 200 years before the Phantom Menace. So, it starts out saying the Force runs strong through the galaxy. Led by Chancellor Lena Soule from Coruscant, the entire galaxy is in an era of peace. Many people populate the core worlds at this time, but some are beginning to branch out to the mid and outer rims by way of hyperspace lanes. However, these worlds and lanes aren't well mapped, so they may present certain dangers. Chancellor Soule's main goal at this time is to bring the Outer Rim worlds into the Republic through outreach programs like some called the Starlight Beacon. But until that happens, the Jedi Knights are the guardians of peace and justice and are helping the Republic set up outposts in the Outer Rim. And then this little prologue section ends by saying, there are few who can stand up to the Jedi, but there will always be some that try. Then we get into part 1 of this book, which is titled The Great Disaster. This is not chapter 1's title, this is part 1's title. Chapter 1 takes place in hyperspace aboard a ship called the Legacy Run, and it tells us that there is 3 hours to impact. To what's impact, we don't know at this time, but we will be finding out as we go through the book. So we see the events of Chapter 1 take place from the point of view of a character named Captain Hedda Cassett. Hedda is the captain of the Legacy Run, which is a Canif Yards Class A modular freighter that is close to 100 years old, so it's a very old ship. When we first meet Hedda, she is checking all of her ship's readouts, and after confirming that everything is all good, she leaves the command bridge to make her rounds throughout the rest of the ship. It is revealed that Hedda runs her ship differently than most people. It is tighter, neater, and cleaner than most other freighters in the galaxy. This is due to her experiences in the Malastare Solus Joint Task Force, where she served as a fighter pilot for around 30 years, so very experienced in the military, very experienced pilot. She's done her time serving the Republic. It is then revealed that after her work in the military, she took on a job captaining merchant vessels for the Bind Guild, so she's been a pilot her entire life. Just to tell us a little more about her character, it says that she always pilots her ship like it is going to be in a decisive battle. No matter the circumstances, that's how she always runs and pilots her ship. So the Legacy Run is described as just a massive vessel, truly a huge freighter that could transport a lot of cargo. However, in this specific trip, Hedda and the Legacy Run aren't transporting goods or objects, they're transporting people. Settlers who are on their way to the Outer Rim worlds due to the overpopulation on the core worlds. They're out there looking for new opportunities, new ways to live their lives. It is then described that most of the ship is currently set up for passenger accommodations, things like beds and open seating areas so passengers can be comfortable. Hedda then thinks about some of the dangers of the Outer Rim worlds and the hyperspace lanes. Hyperspace in itself is unpredictable according to her. She then puts it all out of her mind and tells herself that she just needs to focus on getting 9,000 people to their destination safely. So, we kind of learn exactly how many people she's transporting. 9,000. I mean, that's a lot of people. So, she's got a big task on her hands just to get them all to where they're going safely. Hedda continues to make her rounds and she sees a group of children playing in one of the corridors. She admires them and takes pride that they have a clean area to play in as they wait to start their new lives. One of the kids comes over to Hedda. His name is Serge, and he and Hedda know each other. They talk for a little bit, for a few minutes, and then Hedda has to go and make her last final checks of the ship. Then, for the first time, we are told of what the common person thinks of Chancellor Soule's way of running the Republic, and this is coming from Hedda's internal dialogue. She describes Soule's Republic as not perfect, but then she admits that none are. But it is nice that Soule's way of running things encourages people to dream, and the Republic at this point definitely could be in such a worse position than it is. So it's not perfect, obviously, like she said, but it's good. It's fine. So Hedda makes her final checks and then goes back to the command bridge of the Legacy run. Just as she arrives, an alarm starts to sound. It's triggered by the navigation computer. One of the cadets explains that there is something obstructing the Legacy run's path ahead in the hyperspace lane and that they will make contact with it in 10 seconds. So this is very unusual. Things don't just get put into hyperspace lanes, they don't just get stuck there. Basically an impossible occurrence, like this never ever happens. So everybody's completely thrown off guard, but Hedda, using her skills and instincts as a veteran pilot, takes control of her ship. She's going to try everything in her power to dodge the obstruction and get those 9,000 people there safely. The object comes into Hedda's view, and she can literally see it getting closer and closer, and you know how fast they're going at light speed. So this object is coming fast. But just as it gets into her view, she forces the ship to the side and just dodges the object. As a result of old age and unfathomable force, though, the ship does begin to creak and moan a little, but everyone on board is alive. However, as Hedda continues to fly the ship, the stress just becomes too much and the metal continues to creak and bend. Hedda and the rest of the crew then realize that their fates are near. However, Hedda, quickly thinking on her feet, seals off each cargo module in the Legacy run and hopes that all of the passengers were able to get inside one of them, especially Serge and his friends. She was really thinking about those children at that time. As she gets those sealed off, her first officer raises his hand and gives one last salute to Captain Hedda Cassett. After that, the bridge is ripped open, and it is revealed that Hedda died, not knowing if she had saved anyone at all. So that wraps up Chapter 1 of Light of the Jedi, and did it literally begin with a bang? I mean, it threw us right into the action. We have no idea really what's going on at this point. We don't know what this obstruction is that was in the hyperspace lane, but it set us up and started with this character and started world building, making the reader think, well, this is definitely someone we're going to keep following, a veteran pilot, somebody that served in the military. They're transporting people to the outer rim, and then just bam, in the snap of a finger, everything's turned on its head. But that wraps up the chapter. In the next video in the Light of the Jedi series, we will be going into Chapter 2, obviously, where we will meet a new character named Mervin. But until then, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Leave a like on this video. It's always a pleasure hanging out with you guys. And as always, may the Force be with you.